Hi everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad you joined us today as we discuss faith and baptism. Listen, I have a question for you. What is the greatest story you've ever heard? Yeah, I said it, the greatest story you've ever heard. There are so many different types of stories. There are the romantic stories, like where the prince rescues the princess and they live happily ever after, or the hopeful stories with a dog that gets separated from his family and they go on this journey to reconnect. Or what about the adventure stories? A group of friends set out to find the ancient treasure. Out of those three types of stories, which one is your favorite? Romance? Hopeful? Adventure? What if I told you that there was one story that was greater than any other story? The greatest story in the entire universe. Would you want to hear it? Well, in order to tell you the story, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, it's time for a Bible story. This is a story of Jesus. You see, God loved the world so much that he sent his son.
Awesome, I love this story, but wait, are you going to tell like the entire story from beginning to the end? I don't know if we have time for all that, you know, I've got a haircut later.
Okay, no, we aren't gonna start when he was a baby, okay? We're gonna pick up just a little bit after that.
Okay, so like teenage Jesus.
Still a little older, when Jesus was about 30 years old.
Okay.
That's around the time when he started his ministry.
Cool, wait, what does that mean exactly?
Okay, so that means he started teaching people about God and preaching the good news and doing miracles.
Ah, nice.
Yes, yeah, he traveled all over the place, helping people everywhere he went. All day, every day, he taught, healed, gave, served, prayed for, and rescued people.
Whoa, slow down. You can't just blaze through that fast. Like, what kind of stuff are you talking about here?
Okay, well, so just to name a few, he healed lots of people that were sick, like a blind man who had never opened his eyes. Jesus healed him so he could see. Or there was another man that was crippled and couldn't walk, and just with one word, Jesus healed his body, and the man got up and started dancing.
Wow.
Over and over and over, Jesus came across people that were hurting and sick, even ones who thought they would never get better, and Jesus restored them to perfect health.
Whoa, that's awesome. So he just like healed a lot of people?
Well, no, he did tons of other miracles for people. He took a little bit of food and multiplied it into enough to feed thousands of people. He walked on water and calmed a huge storm just by speaking to it. He cast out demons from people, and he even raised people from the dead.
That's amazing. So he like did all of that, huh? That's like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and that's actually not even close to everything he did. The Bible actually says that Jesus did so many miracles and helped so many people that if we were to write them all down, we couldn't even fit them in enough books that the earth could contain it. It would just be too many books.
Wow, you're like exploding my mind right now, Sarah. Yeah. Jesus did that much for people?
You bet, yeah. And when we look at Jesus' time on earth, we see someone that didn't just tell people that he loved them, he showed them he loved them by what he did. It was obvious what he cared most about.
Oh, let me guess. Hot Pockets.
What?
Yeah, like he's always thinking about it, wishing he was eating one and getting that cheese to bubble up inside like a little orange volcano. Yes.
No, it wasn't Hot Pockets.
Okay, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm thinking of me. Hot Pockets are always on my mind. Scratch that, let me try again. Okay.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say was there was one thing that was always on Jesus' mind.
Loving people.
There you go. Yes. Even when it sometimes wasn't all that easy, Jesus still did everything he could to help people.
Hold on, what do you mean? Wasn't always easy? Like this isn't Jesus we're talking about? He's like the ultimate incredible, can't do anything superhero of all time?
Yes, that's true, but when he was on earth, he was still a man, which meant he got tired and hungry and felt everything any other person feels. It's what makes this story even more amazing because he never let those things get in the way of doing what he did.
Loving people.
Exactly, and traveling and teaching all the time. That was exhausting. One time he even slept in a boat in the middle of a huge storm. That's how physically demanding it was to do what he did.
Wow, that is some serious sleepiness. I bet his disciples had to like use 100 alarm clocks to help him wake up in the morning.
Well, no matter who was asking him for help, Jesus always said yes. He loved with his attitude and actions.
Man, that is totally stinking awesome.
Yeah, and after years of traveling around like that, helping, healing, and teaching people, the time came for him to do the ultimate act of love. He gave his life. Jesus loved us so much that he took the punishment that people deserve and died on the cross for our sin.
Man, talking about an amazing life, but that's not how the story ends, right? I mean, it can't just be over just like that.
Yeah, of course not. 3 days later, Jesus rose from the dead and he's alive today.
Oh, like right now?
Yes, right now. Jesus conquered sin and defeated death, and that's the most amazing thing of all that shows us how much he loves people. Because of what Jesus did on the cross, we can be a part of God's family and know him like never before.
Man, you weren't kidding. Everything Jesus did was about loving people.
Totally, but here's the thing. There's one more part to the story. After Jesus rose from the dead, he visited his disciples and gave them a very important command.
Go and heat up some Hot Pockets and save one for me because I'm super hungry.
No, he told them to follow his example and be just like him. Jesus said to go into all the world and share the good news, to love people like he did.
But was that for just the disciples back then, though?
No way. The Bible tells us to do the very same thing today. Jesus' life is a perfect example of what our life should look like and what we should do.
Right. How do you say it? I think you were saying our Apple dudes and taxes?
Close. Our attitude and actions are how we show people the love of Jesus, and we can go into the world around us and love people too.
Awesome. Oh wait, okay, quick question. Does sharing Jesus with other people mean I have to do anything like weird? Like, I don't have to stand up at the lunch table at school with a megaphone, like start yelling at everybody, do I?
No, definitely
okay,
not.
Cool, because I'm homeschooled and I'd just be yelling at my mom, and I don't think shit like that.
Yeah, it's super simple. Just do the things the way Jesus would do them. When you love others and go out of your way to care for them, that's showing them Jesus.
So when a kid at school, like, doesn't have very much food at lunch, I would like to share some of mine, and that would be like showing them Jesus' love.
Exactly.
Gotcha. So if my mom tells me to like clean my room and I do it without throwing a fit and make sure I do a good job, that's like showing her Jesus too.
You got it.
Okay, I think I'm getting it now.
Great.
I'm catching your drift.
Okay.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right, that's enough. So just remember, as you go through the journey of your life, you can always share the good news with the people around you, just like Jesus, with your attitude and your actions.
Can I do one more?
Sure.
I'm itching what you're scratching.
Okay, the end.
How amazing that God would do that. Send his son to this earth to take the punishment for our mess ups. Now that's a great story. And you know what? That's good news for us. So the question is, now that we know that, what are we going to do about it? This man named John actually answers that very question. So you see, he writes, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, and whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life." I'm gonna read it one more time, and I would love for you to read it with me. Ready? "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, and whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life." God loved the world so much that he gave his one and only son, Jesus. John writes, whoever believes in him, or another way to say that is, whoever has faith in him. You see, we put our faith in things every day, trusting things even when we don't always have the full picture. But faith is like this chair. I can tell you all day that this chair is going to hold me up, but it's not until I take the action of sitting in the chair that I place my faith in the truth that it will hold me up. And whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. You see, if we believe, then we will receive a gift. Don't you love gifts? Well, this is the best gift that you could ever receive. A relationship with Jesus that starts now and lasts forever in heaven with God. And when you've started that relationship, nothing can ever change that, which is important to remember because there will be times that you mess up, but that will never take away from your relationship with God. However, it is a relationship you can always be growing in. Some ways that you can do that are praying to God, reading the things God wrote in the Bible, and even by joining your friends at church. Another way that you can grow in your relationship with God is through something called baptism. Once you have made the decision to believe that God loved, so he gave for your mess ups, you can respond by getting baptized, which is just outwardly showing the decision that you've already made. Baptism is not some magical water that makes you a better person. It's also not the way to earn eternal life in heaven. It's simply this symbol. Just like a friendship bracelet between me and my best friend shows people that we're friends. However, our friendship is not in the bracelet. But if you have made the decision to start a relationship with Jesus, you should follow that with a celebration by getting baptized. But if you're not ready, that's okay, because this is an experience that will mean so much more when you're ready. So one more time, let's say John 3:16 together. Ready? For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, and whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. Thanks for joining us.